stabbing attacks useless, so they have to find another way to deal with it. His mother tries to get herself out of the cupboard, but she's more concerned about the pain in her head, not even realizing the intense battle happening between the dog and the monster behind her. The slime eventually starts to envelope the dog, and begins to morph into something different. Achan is going to have to act fast before things get out of control. He remembers from his past battles that the slime monster is weak to dryness, so he has to find something to use to dry it up. He immediately notices his bottle filled with powdered milk and opens it before tossing it at the monster. The slime recoils and shrinks in size before bouncing around the room. Losing moisture thanks to the milk sent it into a panic, and it's reacting because of it. Achan takes the opportunity once it stops moving to trap it under a dustbin. It looks like things have cleared up, and both the dog and his mother peek their heads up from behind the kitchen counter. His mother then accidentally spills flour on the both of them, leaving them more disoriented than they already were. Because of the flour spill, his mother rushes off to go and wash herself off before the flour stains her outfit. Meanwhile, Achan continues to enjoy the thrill of managing to catch a monster. Slimes can be used as a natural monster repellent, which means that if he manages to spread the slime's liquid on the windows, then it can act like a deterrent from any monster attacks that may happen in the future. Suddenly, the dustbin starts to shift, and the slime leaps out from under it, taking advantage of the silence as an opportunity to escape. The dog gets in front of it before it can get too far, and Achan rushes over to try and trap it again, but it still manages to slip away, this time completely avoiding getting trapped under the dustbin. Before it leaves, it raises a middle finger at the two of them as it slips out the window. The slime came to their home on its own and caused chaos, and then had the audacity to try and leave on its own. It may be weak, but it's too cocky for both of their likings, and that makes them too angry to allow it to escape freely. Achan grabs a nearby umbrella as a weapon and climbs onto the dog as a trust steed. It's time for him to chase after the monster before it gets too far and causes even more trouble. There's no way they can let it escape so that it can cause more trouble for them or others in the future. They get to the ground floor of the building and see the slime perched on top of a building. It drips its liquid on the head of a girl passing by, and she looks up just in time to see it leaping down and trying to swallow her up. Achan and the dog rush to their rescue as the baby tries to figure out what to do. If he uses his own strength, he definitely won't be able to hold out against the slime, but if they let the monster feed on the girl freely, then the place will end up becoming a sea of blood. That kind of scene is something that Achan has seen enough of in his past life. The dog is just fast enough to reach the girl in time and leap over her, while Achan opens up the umbrella and blocks the rain of slime before it can hit the girl. The slime is not deterred and jumps off the umbrella, this time aiming to attack the dog and baby directly. Since Achan can only use his powers for a short time, he has one shot to use and end the monster in an instant. He shoots an enhanced punch with his powers, blowing through the monster immediately and destroying it. The slime explodes and rains down on the area, completely defeated, while Achan and the dog stand victorious after the short battle. Thankfully, he was in time to save the girl before she became slime food, but she also saw him use his powers, and she looks terrified. Without wasting a second, the girl takes off sprinting down the road without looking back. It's understandable that she ran away, considering the scene that she just witnessed. The more difficult thing to think about is how long it'll take him to clean up this mess. His tail comes out from his diaper and goes to absorb the slime scattered around the street. It looks like the tail has the power to absorb another monster's ability. In his past life, the only way for K to absorb a new ability is if he switches it out with the previous one. However, now, the tail is quickly eating up all the scattered slime liquid and turning the power into his own. He tests out the power by forming a slime ball in his hand, and it really does look like the two powers are coexisting. In his past life, K tried his best to make sure that he switched abilities as little as possible so he wouldn't get caught by the organization. That ended up being his downfall at the end, but that doesn't change how strange it is that the tail of Tao T somehow evolved on its own. It could most likely be because of his age. The younger the age of a person when they start developing abilities, the stronger the power of the ability, and the faster the person is able to adapt to it. K became an eligible user for abilities at the age of 10, but everyone younger than him died. Most children can't survive monster toxins, and they all ended up dying as soon as they were exposed to it. But now, K is even younger than any of the other potential candidates from his past life, meaning that his growth potential is incalculable. While he was thinking about how to do things, the dog brought him back home safely. He jumps off the back of his trusty steed and uses his new slime powers to coat the area, ensuring that no monsters will be coming to his home anymore. But just doing that alone has already drained him of all energy and left him exhausted. There's no use thinking of getting new abilities or adapting to his current one, because his stamina is just way too low for him to be able to do anything with the powers. However, he doesn't need to worry too much about the potential future, since the monsters shouldn't come and disturb them anymore thanks to his slime barrier. Achan collapses to the floor in exhaustion, and the dog comes over to him with a menacing look in his eyes. It looks like it's finally time for the dog to get revenge for that humiliation earlier. The dog leans down and picks Achan up by the scruff of his shirt, and for a moment, the baby thinks that he's about to be turned into dog food. Back in the apartment, his mother comes out of the shower, fully cleaned of the flour that poured earlier. She heads to the living room to see how her son is doing, and sees him snuggled up with the dog on the floor. It may look like they are snuggled up, but Achan is struggling fiercely against the weight of the dog on top of him. Hours pass, and the baby is able to free himself from his fluffy prison to get to work on protecting the apartment. He manages to coat the windows and vents and also the drainage pipes with the special slime. Now, even if a major disaster hits the house, they will be safe for a while. While doing all of that, he was able to figure out the current state of the Taoti tail. Apparently, it can stock up to 4 abilities at once, unlike in his past life where he had to swap out one for another. Right now, he can use both the Taoti tail and his slime powers, but only for about half a minute. In order to prepare for a major disaster, he's going to need to do other things. One of the first things any survivor desperately needs in the apocalypse is supplies. The biggest cause of death after the disaster wasn't even the monsters. It's the starvation caused by disrupted logistics, which eventually led to the desperate scramble for supplies. If someone can manage to stockpile on supplies early on and avoid the conflict altogether, that person can even create followers and have people on their side during the most dangerous parts of the disaster. Achan will need to prepare it as soon as possible, but as a baby, there's a limit to what he can do. Supermarkets are crowded, and eventually, places will be full of monsters. If even one person gets infected, the disease will spread around rapidly with no hope of slowing down. With his current body, Achan definitely won't be able to handle a large horde alone, but there also aren't many places that he can get supplies from right now. As he's thinking about any other options he might have to get supplies in the future, his mother's phone rings on the living room table. He goes to check who it is and sees messages coming in from the landlord's group chat. Luckily, her phone isn't locked, so he can easily open it up and see what's going on. The people in the group chat are discussing a weird virus that's spreading around and how people infected by the virus are becoming monsters. It's clear that they don't yet know the severity of the apocalypse that's coming, and Achan is more than happy to enlighten them a bit about it. He sneakily creates an account and hops into the room, informing people about how a great disaster is coming, and they need to get their supplies before everything goes to chaos. Although he's trying to help them by giving them carefully guided instructions, it's clear that no one believes him. The fact that he doesn't even have a profile yet since he freshly created the account also doesn't help his case. There's nothing for him to do as a baby, and online forums aren't much help either. At this rate, all of them will end up dying before the organization even forms. A friend request suddenly comes in on the phone. He accepts the request out of curiosity, and the person on the other end cuts to the chase and tells him that they want to make a deal with him if he is really searching for supplies. The person's username is Hot, and it sounds familiar to the baby. That was the same name of a woman who worked for the organization that was also named Hot. His guess is spot on, and the person on the other side of the screen is indeed the Hot that he's thinking of. She relaxes against the chair in a room filled with computers and gadgets while texting him. It looks like things are about to get very interesting for her. It's clear that whoever she's talking to is a very cautious person, however. Before making any type of deal, they want to hear what her plan is. Talking to them has already become very troublesome, and they've barely spoken any words to each other. So she decides to be direct and make him a proposal in hopes of sealing their deal. She offers to give him all the supplies he wants, whether that be food, water, armor, or whatever else they may need. The only thing that she will place a price on is any information that he needs. That goes for 100 million yen. But for Hot, transportation is also a problem, so she offers to give him the information that he needs, if he gives her 20% of the supplies that he collects. Both the tone of her voice and the 100 million yen starting price sound like something more fitting for a grade schooler. Looking at it logically, there's no way that this person he's talking to isn't the Hot he remembers from the organization. He continues relating with her, asking her directly why he should trust anything she says. On top of that, he also asks why he should even agree to the negotiations in the first place. Hot asks him if he is hoping to become an enemy instead of an ally. She would prefer that they get along instead of bickering or distrusting each other. The baby agrees and asks to know where the place to pick up the supplies is. She tells him that she put the information in a mailbox at the bottom floor of the apartment building where he lives. The organization hasn't formed yet, which means that Hot isn't an executive of it yet. And despite that, she's still a dangerous woman who uses information to toy with people for her own gain. Once she sets her eyes on her target, she will use every trick she knows to exploit the person to the fullest extent that she can. There's no way she would want to get along with someone that she just started talking to. She just wants to lure him into a trap using information as the bait. This time, however, A-chan is wise to her